The biggest enemy of success is not some hidden force outside of you. It's not the government. It's not your family. It's not society. It's you. It's that quiet voice in your head that tells you to hit the snooze button one more time. That tells you tomorrow is a better day to start. That whispers excuses while your dreams are slipping further away. People lose not because they weren't given opportunities, but because they refuse to attack life with the hunger it demands. Comfort is the most dangerous drug, and most people are addicted. Success requires sacrifice, and the moment you choose comfort over growth, you've already declared defeat. Stop blaming the world. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, because it will never come. The biggest enemy of success is the weaker version of yourself. The lazy, doubtful, excuse-making side that you feed every single time you give in. If you want to win, you have to kill that version daily. Success doesn't come to the most talented, it comes to the most relentless. The truth is brutal. If you're not willing to outwork, outlast, and outfight the enemy within, you'll never taste victory. Excuses are poison to ambition. They are the invisible chains that keep people trapped in mediocrity while convincing themselves they are free. Every time someone says, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I don't have time," or "I wasn't born with the right opportunities," they are slowly injecting themselves with a venom that kills drive, courage, and hunger. Excuses feel comforting in the moment because they remove accountability, but they are deadly because they strip away power. Ambition is a flame, and excuses are water thrown on that fire. You cannot be ambitious and excuse-filled at the same time. The two cannot coexist. A person who protects their excuses is a person who has already given up on the life they could have lived. Think about it. Every successful person you admire had the same ability to create excuses. They could have said they were too tired, too poor, too busy, too unprepared, but they didn't. They chose responsibility over reasons. Excuses are the lies you tell yourself to justify not doing what needs to be done. They sound rational, they sound believable, but they are self-sabotage disguised as logic. The truth is, everyone has obstacles, everyone has problems, everyone has unfair disadvantages, but the difference between winners and losers is simple. Winners refuse to allow excuses to have power over them. Excuses are not harmless. They are not just little phrases people throw around. They become habits, they shape identities, and eventually they carve out destinies. If you tell yourself you can't do something because you're too old, you won't try. If you tell yourself you don't have enough time, you won't make it. If you tell yourself you don't have enough talent, you'll never discover what you could have become. Excuses aren't just thoughts, they are decisions. Decisions that rob you of your future. Every excuse is a step away from who you want to be and a step deeper into who you fear becoming. The most dangerous thing about excuses is how seductive they are. They give you a false sense of relief. You skip the gym and you excuse it by saying, "I worked hard today, I deserve rest." It feels good in the moment, but it robs you of long-term progress. You miss an opportunity and excuse it by saying, "It wasn't meant for me." That's comfort talking, not truth. You procrastinate on your goals and excuse it with, "I'll do it when I feel ready." You will never feel ready. Readiness is an illusion, and waiting for it is a disguised excuse that wastes precious time. Ambition dies not because people aren't capable, but because they allow their excuses to outvote their willpower. Success requires brutal honesty with yourself. You have to look in the mirror and admit, "I didn't fail because the world was unfair. I failed because I let my excuses control me." That level of accountability is rare because it hurts, but it's also liberating. When you stop blaming circumstances and start blaming your excuses, you regain control. You can't control the weather, the economy, or where you were born, but you can control whether you surrender to excuses or rise above them. Excuses are poison because they spread. They start small, skipping one task, avoiding one challenge, and they grow until they dominate your entire mindset. The person who excuses missing one workout will excuse missing a week, then a month, then a year. The person who excuses not chasing one opportunity will live a life where opportunities pass them by daily. Before they know it, excuses have not only killed their ambition, but buried their confidence, their discipline, and their self-belief. This is why excuses are so dangerous. They don't just stop progress, they stop people from even believing progress is possible. If you truly want to succeed, you must develop an allergy to excuses. The moment one enters your mind, you must kill it immediately. Replace "I can't" with "how can I?" Replace "I don't have time" with "how do I make time?" Replace "I'm not ready" with "I'll learn by doing." Excuses are powerless the moment you refuse to believe them. Ambition thrives on action, not perfection. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to stop letting excuses justify inaction. The world is full of people with potential that was wasted because excuses sounded more convincing than discipline. Ambition is not something that survives in a comfort zone. It survives in struggle, in risk, in discomfort, in sacrifice. Excuses will always tempt you to stay comfortable, but comfort is where dreams go to die. Every time you give in to an excuse, you are feeding your weaker self, the version of you that fears growth, fears rejection, fears pain. Every time you reject an excuse, you feed your stronger self, the one that craves greatness, the one that demands more, the one that pushes forward when it's hard. Excuses and ambition cannot coexist. One will kill the other. If you nurture your excuses, your ambition will wither away. If you nurture your ambition, your excuses will starve to death. The choice is yours every single day. Don't lie to yourself and say tomorrow. Don't wait for perfect timing. Don't convince yourself that someone else is the reason you can't succeed. Take back your power by rejecting excuses completely. The poison only works if you drink it. Ambition is the purest form of hunger. It's the fire that pushes you to wake up early, work late, and sacrifice what others won't. But for ambition to survive, it must be protected from the slow, toxic drip of excuses. That means taking responsibility for your life, holding yourself accountable, and refusing to let comfort dictate your future. The world doesn't need more excuses. It needs more people willing to rise above them. If you want to live the life you dream of, stop poisoning your ambition with reasons and start feeding it with action. Because in the end, you will either have results or excuses, but never both. Comfort is the silent killer of dreams. It doesn't strike you all at once. It doesn't show up with warning signs. It creeps in slowly, quietly, wrapping you in a warm blanket of mediocrity until you no longer recognize the fire that once burned inside you. Comfort feels good. It feels safe. It feels like the reward you've earned after a long day, but in truth, it is the most dangerous trap a human can fall into. Unlike failure, which hurts and teaches you, comfort doesn't hurt at all. That's what makes it lethal. It whispers to you, stay here, relax, you've done enough, while your dreams wither away in the background. People rarely lose their dreams because of enemies or obstacles. They lose them because comfort convinces them there's no need to fight anymore. Comfort is disguised as peace, but it's actually paralysis. It stops you from chasing greatness by making you believe that good enough is all you need. But here's the truth. Good enough is the enemy of extraordinary. The second you accept comfort as your destination, you've sentenced yourself to a life of regret. Because dreams aren't killed by storms, they're killed by soft pillows and easy choices. Think about the moments in life where you grew the most. Were they moments of ease or struggle? Growth never happens when you're comfortable. It happens when you're challenged, when you're stressed, when you're pushed beyond your limits. Comfort, on the other hand, keeps you exactly where you are. It tells you to stop running when you're tired instead of going one more mile. It tells you to settle for the job you hate because at least it pays the bills. It tells you to avoid risk because safety feels better than uncertainty. And the more you listen, the more you shrink. Dreams don't live in comfort zones. They live in the unknown, the difficult, the uncomfortable. Comfort kills because it lies to you about time. It makes you believe you can wait. It tells you tomorrow will be better. Next week will be easier. Next year will be the right time. But the truth is, time is slipping away while comfort rocks you to sleep. You don't get back the hours you spent scrolling, the nights you spent binge watching, the years you spent telling yourself you weren't ready yet. One day you wake up and realize the dream is still there, but the time is gone. Comfort stole it from you silently without resistance because you willingly handed it over. Comfort is addictive. The more you indulge in it, the harder it is to escape. Just like a drug, It gives you temporary satisfaction while creating long-term weakness. A person who chooses comfort every day becomes soft, fragile, incapable of withstanding the challenges that success demands. That's why so many people talk about success, but so few achieve it. Success isn't denied to them. They simply weren't willing to abandon the comfort that was suffocating them. To achieve anything extraordinary, you must develop the discipline to choose discomfort. Waking up early is uncomfortable. Saying no to distractions is uncomfortable. Working while others relax is uncomfortable. But those are the choices that build greatness. Comfort is the reason people with talent never fulfill their potential. They assume their natural ability will carry them, so they never push harder. They stay within what feels easy instead of chasing what feels impossible. But talent without hunger is wasted. Hunger is born in discomfort. Hunger is choosing to push further, train longer, and sacrifice more even when it hurts. Comfort is the death of hunger because it tricks you into believing you're already full. The tragedy of comfort is that it doesn't just kill dreams, it creates regret. Ask anyone who has lived their life choosing the easy path, and they'll tell you their biggest pain isn't what they did, it's what they didn't do. The dreams they abandoned, the risks they never took, the potential they never explored, all because comfort was easier in the moment. Regret is the heaviest weight to carry, and it always comes from the choices made in comfort. But here's the good news. Comfort only wins if you let it. You can choose discomfort. You can decide to step into the unknown, to embrace the pain, to welcome the challenge. Every time you do, you weaken comfort's hold over you. Every time you reject the easy path and take the harder one, you feed your dreams instead of killing them. Discomfort is not your enemy, it's your greatest ally. It's the sign that you're growing, moving, evolving. If you feel comfortable, you're stuck. If you feel uncomfortable, you're moving toward your dream. You must train yourself to see comfort as a warning sign. When life feels too easy, too predictable, too safe, that's not success. It's stagnation. Comfort is the alarm that tells you you're not pushing hard enough. Success requires a constant willingness to be uncomfortable, to sacrifice sleep, to embrace risk, to push through pain. Every person who ever achieved greatness lived in discomfort far longer than others were willing to. That's why they have what others only dream about. Comfort will always be there, whispering, tempting, pulling you back. But you must remember that comfort is not a reward, it's a trap. It doesn't care about your dreams, your goals, or your legacy. It only cares about keeping you still, silent, average. And if you let it, it will succeed. But if you resist it, if you fight it daily, if you embrace discomfort and chase growth relentlessly, you'll build a life that comfort could never offer. So kill the comfort before it kills your dream. Seek discomfort, chase it, welcome it, because inside it lies the growth, the strength, and the destiny you're searching for. Dreams die in comfort, but they thrive in struggle. And if you want to live the life you've imagined, you must choose the pain of growth over the poison of ease every single day. Discipline beats talent every time. Talent may shine in the short term. It may impress people at first glance, but without discipline, talent burns out, fades away, and becomes wasted potential. Discipline, on the other hand, is relentless. It doesn't care how gifted you are. It doesn't care if you were born with advantages or not. It simply rewards those who show up every single day, no matter how they feel. Discipline is consistency, and consistency will always outlast bursts of talent. The world is full of people with incredible gifts who never made it anywhere, not because they weren't capable, but because they lacked the discipline to put in the work when motivation disappeared. Talent might give you a head start, but discipline ensures you finish the race. Think of it this way. Talent is natural ability, but discipline is the engine that drives that ability forward. You can be the most naturally talented athlete, singer, writer, or entrepreneur, but if you lack the discipline to practice, to refine, to improve, then your talent will plateau. Someone with less raw ability but greater discipline will surpass you every time. Discipline is the great equalizer. It turns average people into legends, while talent without discipline leaves geniuses forgotten. The problem is people worship talent because it looks glamorous, or they see someone who makes success look easy and assume it's all natural. What they don't see are the hours of discipline behind true mastery. Talent may open a door, but discipline keeps you inside the room. Without it, you'll be exposed the moment things get hard. Discipline doesn't rely on moods, feelings, or convenience. It doesn't ask, do you feel like working today? It demands, show up anyway. That is why it always wins. Talent can quit. Talent can get lazy. Talent can get comfortable. Discipline doesn't quit. It doesn't relax. It doesn't negotiate. It simply does the work day after day until results can no longer be denied. Look at the greatest achievers in history. Were they all the most talented? No. Many were not the smartest, fastest, or strongest, but they had unmatched discipline. They trained longer, studied harder, and outworked everyone around them. Discipline builds resilience, and resilience beats raw ability in the long run. Because success is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Talent shines at the start, but only discipline has the stamina to carry you to the end. Discipline also creates freedom. That may sound contradictory, but it's true. When you live with discipline, you build habits that remove chaos from your life. You don't waste time deciding whether or not to work, you simply do it. You don't rely on motivation, you rely on routine. Discipline gives you control over your actions, and that control creates freedom. Freedom from regret, freedom from wasted potential, freedom from wondering what if. Talent without discipline leads to the opposite: chaos, inconsistency, and a lifetime of could have been. Another reason discipline beats talent is because discipline compounds. Each day of disciplined action builds on the last. Over time, small actions add up to massive results. The person who writes 1 page a day will eventually write a book. The person who practices 1 hour daily will master a skill. Talent without discipline cannot compete with the compounding effect of consistent effort. Talent may create spikes of brilliance, but discipline creates mountains of success. Discipline also teaches humility. Talent often breeds arrogance. People assume their natural ability makes them untouchable. They stop learning, stop improving, and believe they're already good enough. But discipline requires humility because it forces you to show up and admit you can do better. Discipline doesn't care about ego. It cares about growth. And humility paired with discipline produces unstoppable progress. That's why disciplined individuals keep climbing while talented but arrogant individuals fall. It's important to understand that discipline is not something you're born with. It's something you build. That means anyone can have it. You don't need to be the smartest or most gifted. You just need to be willing to commit. Discipline is forged in choices. Waking up when you don't want to, working when you're tired, saying no to distractions, and holding yourself accountable. Each choice strengthens your discipline, and the stronger it gets, the more unstoppable you become. Discipline also protects you when motivation dies. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes with moods, energy, and circumstances. If you rely on motivation, you'll only work when you feel good. But discipline doesn't care about feelings. It keeps you moving forward when motivation disappears. That's why disciplined people succeed in the long run. They don't stop just because they don't feel like it. They know success doesn't care about feelings, it only cares about results. Think of talent as a spark and discipline as the fuel. A spark alone is nothing. It flashes and fades. But with fuel, it becomes a fire that burns endlessly. That's why disciplined people are dangerous. They may not start with much, but they build unstoppable momentum. They don't quit, they don't settle, they don't rely on shortcuts. They put in the work that others avoid, and that is why they win. The truth is harsh but undeniable. Talent is overrated. The world is full of wasted talent. People who could have been great but chose comfort over discipline. And the world is also full of disciplined individuals who turn themselves into greatness without ever being the most talented. The deciding factor isn't what you're born with. It's what you're willing to do daily. So remember this. Discipline beats talent every time. Because discipline doesn't fade, it doesn't quit, it doesn't take shortcuts. It builds character, resilience, and results. Talent might make you impressive, but discipline makes you unstoppable. If you want success, stop worshiping talent and start worshiping discipline. Because in the end, talent may set the stage, but discipline writes the legacy. The enemy is not outside, it's within. It's not the people who doubt you. It's not the critics who mock you. It's not even the circumstances stacked against you. The real enemy lives inside your own head. That inner voice that whispers you can't. That hesitation that makes you question your worth. That comfort-seeking side of you that begs for rest instead of progress. The true battle of life is never against the world. It's against yourself. You don't lose because the world is unfair. You lose because you allow your inner doubts, fears, and excuses to control you. Think about it. Every time you had a chance to level up but didn't, was it really because of others? Or was it because you convinced yourself you weren't ready? When opportunities passed by, was it because someone stole them or because you hesitated and failed to act? The enemy inside you is cunning. It doesn't attack with violence. It attacks with hesitation, laziness, procrastination, fear. It makes you believe you need to wait for the right moment, that success belongs to someone else, that your dream is too big. This inner enemy is far more dangerous than anything outside. Because if you lose to it, you'll sabotage yourself long before the world even has a chance. The outside world will always have obstacles, competition, setbacks, rejection, criticism, but those aren't what destroy people. What destroys them is the internal surrender. It's when they let fear dictate their choices. It's when they let excuses sound louder than ambition. It's when they allow comfort to drown out discipline. The world can only defeat you if you've already been defeated within. No enemy outside can stop someone who has mastered their inner enemy. That's why some people succeed despite poverty, setbacks, and opposition, because they conquered themselves first. The truth is, your mind is both your greatest weapon and your greatest threat. If you master it, nothing can stop you. If you let it control you, nothing can save you. The voice within that tells you to quit, to slow down, to play safe, that voice is not a friend. It is the very thing holding you back. The strongest prisons are not built of bars. They're built of beliefs. And too many people are trapped by the belief that they aren't good enough, smart enough, strong enough. That belief isn't imposed by others. It's built within. That's why the hardest battle you will ever fight is against your own mind. The enemy within thrives on weakness. It feeds on your doubts, on the days you skip discipline, on the times you allow fear to dictate your choices. Every time you surrender to procrastination, you strengthen the inner enemy. Every time you settle for less, you hand it more power. But here's the good news. The enemy within can be defeated. Or you defeat it every time you do what you don't feel like doing. You defeat it every time you silence the excuses and take action anyway. You defeat it every time you choose growth over comfort, courage over fear, discipline over laziness. The great achievers in life weren't the ones who never faced fear or doubt. They were the ones who fought and conquered their own internal resistance. They knew the outside world could never be controlled, but the inner world could. They understood that success is not about defeating others, it's about defeating yourself. The weaker version of you that wants to stay average. That version is your real opponent. If you don't conquer it, no amount of external success will matter because you'll always sabotage yourself. This is why people can have talent, opportunity, and resources, yet still fail. It's not the outside world stopping them. It's the inner enemy they never faced. And this is why some people with nothing, with no support, with every possible disadvantage, still rise to greatness. They refused to let the enemy within win. They disciplined their minds, built resilience, and fought back against the voice that told them to quit. That's the ultimate key. When you master yourself, you master life. The inner enemy will never fully disappear. That voice of doubt, fear, and weakness will always try to creep back in. The goal is not to silence it forever, but to dominate it every single day. You must become stronger than your excuses, louder than your doubts, tougher than your fears. You must wake up every morning prepared to go to war with yourself. Because if you win that war, no outside force will ever be able to stop you. Remember this, the enemy outside can harm you, but it cannot defeat you unless the enemy within has already surrendered. Life will always throw challenges, setbacks, failures, but those are external battles. They only become fatal when the inner enemy convinces you to give up. The world is harsh, but your inner voice can be harsher. And if you allow it to dominate, it will bury your potential before the world even sees it. So fight back. Fight the laziness that tells you to rest when it's time to grind. Fight the doubt that whispers you're not capable. Fight the excuses that justify mediocrity. Fight the comfort that wants to chain you to average. The enemy within is strong, but you are stronger if you choose to be. Conquer yourself, and the world will have no choice but to follow. Because at the end of the day, success is not about beating others. It's about beating the one enemy that lives inside you. And once you've mastered that, nothing outside will ever stand a chance. Success demands hunger, not hope. Hope is passive. It's waiting for the universe to hand you what you dream about. Hunger is aggressive. It's chasing your goal until there is no other option but to win. Hope is sitting still and imagining the life you want. Hunger is standing up and refusing to stop until that life is yours. Hope is comforting. It feels good, but it achieves nothing on its own. Hunger is uncomfortable. It burns inside you. It keeps you awake at night and drags you out of bed in the morning. That's why hunger creates results, and hope creates excuses. Too many people live their lives hoping. They hope things will get better. They hope opportunities will fall into their lap. They hope someone notices their worth. Hope keeps people stuck because it removes accountability. If you're only hoping, you're waiting on luck. But success doesn't belong to the lucky. It belongs to the hungry. Hunger is different. Hunger doesn't care about luck. It doesn't care about perfect timing. It doesn't care about waiting. Hunger says, if the door is closed, I'll break it open. If the opportunity isn't given, I'll create one. If the odds are against me, I'll outlast them. That's the mentality that builds empires, not hope. Hunger is raw desire turned into action. It's not just wanting success. It's needing it like air, like water. A hungry person doesn't treat success as optional. They treat it as survival. That's why hungry people always outpace hopeful people. The hopeful dream. The hungry execute. The hopeful wait. The hungry work. The hopeful want it. The hungry need it. That difference changes everything because success is not kind to those who wait politely. It rewards those who attack relentlessly. Hope whispers maybe someday. Hunger demands today. Hope accepts excuses. Hunger doesn't even acknowledge them. Hope looks at challenges and says, this is too hard. Hunger looks at challenges and says, good, this will make me stronger. Hunger is ruthless, and that ruthlessness is necessary because success is not gentle. It doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't bend to your dreams. It only responds to action and sacrifice. Look at the people who've achieved greatness. They weren't just hopeful dreamers. They were starving for success. They sacrificed sleep, comfort, and distractions. They took risks others were afraid to take. They worked when no one was watching. They bled for their vision. They kept moving when hope would have given up. Hunger gave them the edge because hunger sustains effort when motivation runs out. Hope is fragile. It dies the moment things get tough. Hunger is resilient. It grows stronger with every setback. Hunger is also what fuels discipline. You can't stay consistent if you're only hopeful. Hope doesn't get you out of bed at 5 a.m. Hope doesn't push you through exhaustion. Hope doesn't keep you grinding when everyone else is resting. Hunger does. Hunger turns discipline into a lifestyle because you no longer see the work as optional. It's not a matter of, do I feel like it today? It's, I have no choice. This is who I am. That mindset transforms average people into unstoppable forces. Hope is about wishing. Hunger is about demanding. When you're hungry, you demand more from yourself every single day. You demand effort when you're tired. You demand progress when it's painful. You demand results when others are making excuses. Hunger doesn't wait for opportunity. It hunts it. Hunger doesn't hope for success, it creates it. And the reason most people never reach their potential is because they settle for hope when they should be feeding hunger. The dangerous truth is that hope makes people feel safe. It allows them to dream without taking action. Or it gives them comfort without consequences. But hunger is dangerous in a different way. It demands you risk, sacrifice, and suffer for what you want. That's why most people avoid it. Hunger is painful. Hunger is restless. Hunger forces you into discomfort, but only in discomfort do dreams become reality. The reason so few people live the life they truly want is because they chose the false comfort of hope over the raw fire of hunger. Hunger changes how you see the world. While hopeful people see obstacles, hungry people see opportunities. Hopeful people stop at rejection. Hungry people push harder. Hopeful people wait for permission. Hungry people give themselves permission. Success doesn't require you to be the smartest, the most talented, or the most connected. It requires you to be hungrier than everyone else. Because hunger makes you resourceful It makes you resilient. It makes you unstoppable. If you want success, you cannot sit around hoping it finds you. You must become obsessed, consumed by hunger. You must wake up with it, live with it, and go to bed with it. Let it eat at you until you cannot stand the thought of wasting another second. Let it drive you when you're tired. Let it push you when you want to quit. Because the truth is, the world will always belong to the hungry. Hopeful people dream of change. Hungry people create it. So stop waiting for the right moment. Stop hoping things will fall into our place. Stop expecting someone else to hand you the life you want. Success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who hunt. Feed your hunger. Feed it with discipline, with sacrifice, with action. Hope might make you feel good, but hunger will make you unstoppable. And at the end of your life, you won't be remembered for what you hoped for. You'll be remembered for what you were hungry enough to go out and take. Success demands hunger, not hope. And until you embrace that truth, your dreams will remain just that, dreams. In the end, success does not belong to the hopeful, the comfortable, the excuse makers, or the ones who rely only on talent. It belongs to the hungry, the disciplined, the relentless warriors who go to war with themselves every single day. You must understand that your greatest enemy is not outside. It's the weaker version of you within. The one who begs for comfort. The one who invents excuses. The one who whispers tomorrow while your future slips away. To succeed, you must kill that version of yourself again and again, replacing it with the disciplined, hungry, unstoppable version that refuses to settle for less than greatness. Life is not waiting to hand you success. It doesn't care how much you hope, how much you wish, or how much you dream. Life only respects action. It only bows to sacrifice, discipline, and hunger. So stop waiting, stop hoping, stop hiding behind excuses. Rise up, embrace the discomfort, silence the inner enemy, and attack every single day with an unshakable hunger. Because at the end of your journey, you won't be judged by what you wanted. You'll be judged by what you did. And only hunger, not hope, will carry you to the life you were meant to live.